Afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, the 23rd of June 2021. It's 4 p.m. in the afternoon, 1600 hours. So I'm James, and I'm joined with Pete. We're going to be announcing something really exciting to you for the future of in-person services at Life Church Lincoln. If you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please do share the link or pop someone's name in the comments on Facebook so that they can watch along. It's really important that people hear the information we're going to be sharing today as quickly as possible. We are going to be sharing some information. There will be probably questions that come into your mind about certain things, and we've thought of some frequently asked questions, the sort of things that lots of people are probably likely to wonder, and so we will go through those. But if you have a question or a comment or anything, please do pop them in the comments on Facebook or YouTube, just so that we can get to them. So thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube or later on when you're watching back. So going back to March 2020, that was the last time that we actually met in person as a church. There's been a number of reasons as to why we haven't actually met in person since that point. It feels like, wow, such a long time ago now, and that's probably because it is a long time ago. But we're really happy and really excited to tell you that from this coming Sunday, so Sunday the 27th of June 2021, we are going to, for the first time in all that time, open up for an in-person service. Round of applause. Everyone get excited. It's really, really great news. So there's going to be a number of things that we need to tell you about that, some practicalities. As I'm sure you can understand, it's not like we can just open the doors and let absolutely everybody in all at the same time. We're still under a number of particular guidelines and everything like that we have to abide by. We're hoping that at the end of those 4 weeks, we'll be able to have a much freer Sunday, and that Sundays after that will be hopefully, let's hope and pray, they're totally unrestricted and everything like that. And church at that point will look quite different for a season, so that we can go through what we feel as a core leadership team is a really important process of kind of coming back together, of kind of healing, grieving, celebrating as well the fact that we can be back together, and before we are into the kind of the longer term picture of what we think God wants for us. But more on that as the weeks go. We were wanting to kind of go into that format of church from this Sunday, but we're not going to be able to, unfortunately. But we are. The good thing is we've got something, haven't we? So we've got something, Pete. So that's the good thing. So what we're going to talk about just for these next few minutes, and we're not going to be on live too long today, he says. We're going to just talk about some of the practicalities, how you could go about being a part of that if you'd like to, and just some of the things you need to be aware of. And so if you do have a question, please pop it in the comments. But if you think it's kind of the sort of question probably a lot of people would answer, it might be that we've already thought of it. So maybe kind of hang fire on one or two things. So one thing that I do really just want to say is that this doesn't mean that we're going to stop broadcasting online. What we really see in the long term is that the church will be much more hybrid in the future, meaning that we won't just be meeting online, we won't just be meeting in person, but actually we'll have both things. And I think there's going to be some things that are going to change and morph over time, but that we'll kind of cross that bridge a bit more when we come to it. So if you can't join us in person on Sunday, then you will still be able to watch online, either live or watching it back. So Pete, would you like to? Pete, now I just want to honour Pete before we talk. Pete has worked. He works really hard anyway. He's one of the most hard-working people I've ever met. But he's worked extra hard this week to get us to a point where the risks have been assessed, where we've got an operational plan, so that we can go forward with this. We had to go through the process of taking that to our excellent hard-working board of trustees to us to present that to them and see if they think we've got all our bases covered, and they were like, "Yeah, we think this is really good." So we're able to go forward with this. So we honour you, Pete, for everything that you do, everything that you've done, everything that you will do. Would you like to tell us about some of the practicalities for this Sunday?
Yeah, so thanks, James. Really, really happy to be able to share this news with everybody today that we're actually meeting back in person on Sunday, this Sunday, which is incredible. And I just want to echo what you said and just say a few thank yous first as well, because although I've had some to do with getting stuff ready and putting things down on paper in terms of action plans and risk assessments and all the rest of that, it really has been a team effort to get us to this point. It has been a team effort all the way through the last sort of 15, 16 months now. But there's been some really, really key people who've made so much happen in the church, and they've all been involved in making this happen as well. So again, I want to say a huge thank you to our trustees who've been with us every step of the way through this last season, through everything that coronavirus has thrown at us and lockdown has. And they've been incredible in supporting James and I and our volunteer teams in helping carry on still being church, looking very different, but still being church together online. And so now we're taking the first step. I guess Pentecost was a good kind of starter, but this is really the first step for us to come back together in person. So as you'll see, scrolling across the bottom of the screen there, the headlines are that, yes, we are open from this Sunday, but there is a limited capacity and booking in will be essential. So as with all things COVID, social distance is still a thing. It's still important that we provide a space where people can feel safe and comfortable, where we can be assured that there's all the risks are going to be as mitigated as we possibly can make them. So that's why we've had to limit the capacity in our building. But to help us with that, what we've done is we've actually created 2 spaces within our building where you can come and be part of the services on Sunday. So as you'll see, if you've watched any of our online services over the last, 6 months or more, most of what happens on our Sunday services takes place in the auditorium. We've made a few adjustments over the last few weeks to utilize more of our building, but most of what happens takes place in our auditorium. So you can book in and come to sit in that auditorium and be part of the service that's happening there. That will mean that you're in the room with live worship. You'll be in the room where the messages are shared, where prayer is led. You'll be in the same room where we'll continue with the Sunday conversation as well, which you are more than welcome to stay for if you are booking into the auditorium. But to help with the restrictions and the amount of people who can come and be a part of our Sunday services, and also to provide a slightly different environment, one that I think a lot of people might appreciate, what we've done is we're actually utilizing our dining hall as well. And we're going to set that up as a cafe style church, I guess is the word for it, cafe style church. And if you've been along to our community lunch on Tuesdays at Oasis, 11:30 till 2 p.m, you can go along this Tuesday if you like. You'll be familiar with the setup. So we're going to mirror that kind of setup with tables around the room. You can sit down. There will be teas and coffees served in that room. And you can sit around those tables. You can socialize with people. So if perhaps you want to meet a friend at church, come and have a coffee. You can book in together. You can book a couple of tickets for you and your friend to come sit in the dining hall, have a more sort of cafe experience style church where it'll be a little bit more open to social interaction. You won't be in the room where worship is, and it won't be quite as loud. But what we will be doing is piping the whole service through to the screen with the sound, so that you'll be able to be part of the service as well. It's just another option for you to come and enjoy church, come and be the church, come and be involved in the service and engage in something that we've all probably missed over this last period, which is social fellowship with one another as well. So those are kind of the headlines of what's happening. That's the shape of what it'll look like. And to do that, you'll need to book in. So maybe we could talk a little bit more about that, James.
Absolutely. So we're going to post some links, aren't we, in the comments, peeps? So there are 2 separate links. One for if you want to book into the auditorium, one if you want to book into the dining hall. And as Pete said, they're both going to be a little bit different, aren't they? Unfortunately, because of the current regulations, if you're sat in the auditorium, you won't be able to be served a drink. You won't be able to go and get a drink from the dining hall and take it in. You'll need to go into one area of the other. I can see the links are being posted now. So what I'd encourage you to do, if for some reason, now we're completely in the dark about how many people are likely to be there on Sunday. We would have loved to at the start of this, probably at the start of this week or even last Sunday, been able to say we're going to be in person next Sunday, but we've had to go through the process of making sure that we do everything the correct way, and so we've only been able to get that information to you now, but it's out now. So what we'd encourage you, if you did look to sign up in, say, the dining hall, but it was full, but there was space in the auditorium, please book into that, and vice versa. So we'd encourage you to, if you know someone who wants to book in, please send the link over to them. If you are someone, or you know someone who doesn't have internet access or would struggle with booking it online, if they can contact our office and we can put you a place there. Maybe we can get an office email address and a telephone number in there, or you could. We're open 9 o'clock till 2 tomorrow, so you could go down in person and book a space. But spaces will be limited there, and so please don't kind of hesitate if you want to get booked in. So I hope we tried to make the process as kind of smooth and easy as possible. I would say if you don't have a place, if you're not booked in, then we won't be able to admit you. So booking is, as Pete said, it is essential, and that's so that we can make sure that we go through all the correct we jump through all the correct hoops at the moment. I mean, what we're hoping is it'll be like this for just 4 Sundays, and then after that, into when we're well into July, that we'll be able to be much freer about it, and people will be able to just come on a Sunday as we always did and not need to worry about booking in. But that's just where we are at the moment. So please do get booked in. Please don't hesitate and lose out on your spot. But again, if for some reason everything were to kind of sell out in one go, then you will still be able to catch everything online and maybe grab a space for next week. Maybe that'd be a good juncture, Pete, before we talk about other practicalities. What about next week onwards? How will people book in for that? And when is there a time limit on when people need to book by for this Sunday? And what about for the Sunday after? How's booking being handled?
Yeah, so for this week, you can book slots now. You can book tickets now. So what you'll find is if you go to book either for the dining hall or the auditorium, and please only book one. You can't book in for both. So if you do book both, we'll contact you and say which one would you like, because you can only book one and you will have to stay inside of that space during the service. We can't move people between the auditorium and the dining hall. So make your choice, book in and commit to that one. So you can book those tickets now. You can book multiple tickets if you like. So again, if you want to book for yourself and for a friend, you can do that. If you want to book for yourself and the rest of your family, you will need to do that as well. So don't just make one booking for yourself and then turn up with 5 of your family members. You need to make sure that you add everybody to your booking. It should all be nice and straightforward on the booking service. I've tested it out. It works. So please let me know if you do have any problems. You can contact us again. Get in contact with the office tomorrow if you have any issues booking in today. So you can book right the way up until 8:30 on Saturday evening. At that point, bookings will close. Because we need to cut it off somewhere, and we've left it pretty much as late as possible. But that will allow us to make some minor modifications to the room come Sunday. We may need to shift some chairs around slightly in the auditorium to allow households to sit together and things like that. So you can book from now right the way up until 8:30 on Saturday. So for next week, what we'll do is probably around maybe Tuesday or Wednesday, we will release brand new links for booking in on that day for that week as well. So there'll be brand new links each week for you to book in, and you will need to book in each week. So just because you've booked this week doesn't mean you will be booked in for the next 4 weeks as well. So look out for those new links. We'll put them up in as many different places as we can. They'll be on social media. They'll be in emails. We'll share them with life group leaders who can pass them around in WhatsApp chats or whatever other means of communication you have. As always, you can come down to the office and get booked in via there as well. So let's just get this message out there. If we all share it with all of our friends, especially with those people who we know maybe don't have access to digital platforms, it's a great way to get the message out, to share it with people and to make sure that nobody misses out on the opportunity to book in. So look for those new links each week on Tuesday or Wednesday and get yourself booked in between when they go live and right up till Saturday 8:30. But if you want to be sure that you've got a space, I suggest you get in early. Bookings will be limited, so the auditorium we can have about 30 people, and the dining hall we've got about 18 spaces. So all in all, we've got it's a fairly good amount. I think we've done quite well to fit that amount of people in and still be able to do it safely. But they could go very quickly. So better to get booked early than be disappointed.
Absolutely. And just with the booking system, Pete, while you were first talking, because I remember you saying earlier it'll go live then on 4 o'clock, I actually refreshed my screen, and I've booked 2 people in who I know don't have internet access, and asked if I could book them in if we in the event that we can have a church service, and so I've made sure I've done that. So I've been able to test it out, and it all works perfectly. You get an email as well. If you don't if you don't hear anything within a few minutes, just make sure you check your junk folder just in case it's gone into there. But you'll get an events email just confirming your place. So there's a question that Tom's asked, and it's great to see a number of people online. It's great to hear from Aidan in South Africa. Hope you're doing well, my friend, and other people as well. And it's great we can be able to be back together in person. Now can we just be real for a minute? We know this is not perfect. This was not what we wanted, but we don't live in a perfect world at the minute with COVID. And at least this is something for the time being, isn't it, Pete? It's something in the time being, and hopefully, as I said, after these 4 weeks, we'll be able to be a lot freer and do a number of different things sort of over the course of the summer. So I think actually you've communicated a number of those practicalities quite well, very well, Pete. So what about because I mean we've talked about communication, haven't we? So each week it's likely we'll post details on social media, we'll send an email out so that you can get booked in. So make sure you kind of stand by your bed to get ready to get booked in each week. Are there any kind of practicalities that you think we really need to share with people about once people are in the building? Mm-hmm. So with regard to things like use of toilets, movement around the building, sanitising, whether or not people need to wear masks, things like that?
Yeah, there's loads to cover, isn't there? And let me just talk about Tom's question first. So Tom asked the question, if people book in and they come in with a baby who's not going to take up a chair, is that going to be counted as an extra person? So if you've got a young infant or baby who's going to be like a baby in arms, basically, what I would suggest you do is when you book your ticket, there's a slot to put any other information, additional notes. Please write it in there to let us know that you're coming with a baby, but they won't need an extra seat. That will be fine. It won't take up an extra. It won't take up any extra seats. You can bring, if you want to bring a pushchair and a pram, we will be able to make space for that as well, as long as we don't get too many. So I'm not anticipating loads and loads and loads, but if you want, if you are coming with a very small baby and you want to bring a pram, you can bring that into the building as well, and we can facilitate that as well. Tom's asked another question as well. If you book seats but then you can't make it, how do you go about cancelling to ensure spaces can go somewhere else? So on the email that you receive when you book your tickets, there'll be a link in that email for you to cancel the tickets if you need to. If you can't find that email, or you're struggling to find that link, or you have any other issues, get in contact with the church office or contact our social media accounts. We can cancel the booking for you as well. So there's plenty of provision for that. For people who need to cancel their booking for whatever reason. Jackie's asked about access through wheelchair. Jackie, you can go wherever you want. If you want to go into the dining hall, you can, but if you'd rather be in the auditorium, you can. We can make access available to you in either of those. So that's not a problem. Just you specify wherever you want to go, book in for where you want to go, and we'll make sure that you can get access through. One of the great things about having a booking system, though it isn't perfect, and it's only something that we're having for as long as we have limited numbers, is that it lets us know in advance who's coming and some of these extra additional details so that we can make your arrival as easy as possible. So if we talk more about what your experience will be like on the day when you come, that'll probably give you people a good idea of what to expect after they've booked in. So The service will start at 10:30. That's what we've been doing for the last however many months online. So we're still aiming to start at that same time. I think for this first week, it would be prudent to say we may be slightly delayed in that start, both in person and online. So be prepared for that. We'll try to be on time if we can, but if we're slightly late starting, then please don't worry, just stick with us. So when you arrive, we would love for you to arrive from around 10:15. We don't want to get there too early. We don't want people in the building too early, but again, we don't want people in the building too late. If you arrive somewhere between 10:15, 10:10, and between before 10:30, that will allow us to get you into the building. You'll be welcomed by our incredible host team. I know they're really looking forward to getting back in action. A team we haven't had for a long time. They're really looking forward to getting back in action and welcoming everybody in. They'll welcome you in. They'll show you to your seats, so you'll be assigned seats, and they'll show you to their seats, or they'll notify you about which seats are yours, and then you'll be able to make your way to your seat. Once the service is underway, if you do need to use the toilet, you can. You just leave your seat, and the host team, again, if you don't know where you're going, your host team will direct you. Because of the ways our toilets are built and the size capacity of them, they are limited to one household at a time. So that will be overseen by our host team again. So they'll just let you know when the toilet's free or if it's currently in use, just to help guide you through all that. So you can access the toilet. You can bring, if you're in the dining hall, you can bring your own food and drink. Teas and coffees will be served to you at your table, so it'll be table service, again, by our refreshments team, another team who haven't been in action for a long time. And again, we'll be really looking forward to getting back in action and serving people at their tables. So they'll serve teas and coffees at the table. You can bring food along with you, but there won't be any food served from the church, unless we did talk about maybe some a few biscuits, chocolate biscuits or something that are pre-wrapped, so we may be able to serve them. But yeah, bring that with you. Whilst you're seated at your table in the dining hall, you can remove your face covering. So that's something we haven't touched on yet. If you are attending, please do wear a face covering unless you're medically exempt. If you're in the dining hall, as soon as you're sat down, you can remove that. So it's the same rules as if you were in a cafe at that point. So you can remove your face covering if you wish. You keep it on if you wish, whatever you want to do. If you're in the auditorium, you will need to keep your face covering on throughout the service unless you're taking a drink. So through worship, prayer, please do keep your face covering on, but you can sing. Whether you're in the auditorium or in the dining hall, you can sing. If you feel more comfortable not singing, or if you feel more comfortable wearing a face mask to sing, then by all means, please do that. Again, if you're in the auditorium, you're going to need to keep that face mask on. If you're in the dining hall while you're sat down at the table, you can take that face mask off. So and then if you need to use the toilet, you can get up. You'll be the host team will be there to help you move around. And then when it comes to the end of the service, the host team will guide you out of the building. So we'll leave in a way that means that we're not going to have people moving past one another. So basically, we'll empty out from the back, or whoever's nearest the door will empty out first. And we'll empty the auditorium first and then the dining hall. So that will happen at the end of the service before the Sunday conversation takes place. So we'll have a 10-minute break at that point where the Sunday conversation will be prepared. And that will be the point where everybody will be able to leave the building. If you're staying for the Sunday conversation, you're welcome to do so. And then again, after that, people will leave in the same fashion as well. So hopefully that kind of answers some of those questions. If there's anything I missed, James, please just go and fill it in, or just prompt me. But I think that's answered everything around sort of arriving on the day, how you'll be welcomed, where your seats will be, how you'll move around the building, if you need to use the toilet, face coverings, singing, all the rest of that stuff.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Pete. I think you've done a brilliant job there. What I would say to people is, if there's something that we've not covered that you're thinking about, please pop it in the comments. Alternatively, when you're booking in, you can pop a question in there. We'll try and get back to you. You can contact our office, or drop us an email, office@life-church.co.uk, and we'll do our best to answer you. If it's something like less that can be just dealt with on the day, you can feel free to book in and ask the host team when you arrive, and we'll do our best to answer your question. One thing I did think about, Pete, was I'll just say if you are in the auditorium while we can't serve you a drink, you can bring sort of bottled water or something like that. Feel free to do that. One thing I was going to ask Pete was about Life Kids. So I mean, kids can book in if you want to bring your kids with you, then that's absolutely fine. But what's the obviously we've been working with Chantel and the Life Kids team, and they've taken two decisions about what they're doing over these next few weeks. What's the current situation there with Life Kids?
Yeah. So for these next 4 weeks, we've taken the decision that Life Kids will remain online. So at the moment, the Life Kids team are doing an incredible job with creating amazing content, both for YouTube videos and also hosting Zoom calls with all of our Life Kids, which I have children who attend Life Kids, and they absolutely love those Zoom calls. Interactive. They're able to play games together, see one another, and do all of those things. So at the moment, we've taken the decision that for these 4 weeks, we're going to continue with that. So for these services that are taking place on Sunday, there will be no structured provision or anything sort of provided by Life Church for children who attend. Now, as you said, children are welcome to attend. If you have children and you want to bring them along, please do. Please do bear in mind, what we've talked about in terms of the restrictions and trying to maintain distance between one another. Speaking personally, it's not something I'm going to bring my children to, because the ages they're at now, they want to be off and running around, and they're too small to understand about some of these restrictions and why they're there, and asking them to sit for an hour and a half through a service is not really something that I don't think would be of benefit to anybody. That's us personally. So that's the decision we're going to be taking as a family. It's up to you what you want to do as a family, but just bear in mind there won't be anything directly provided for children in these 4 weeks. But of course, online provision is still going to be there. You can still catch up with Life Kids on YouTube. You can jump into the Zoom meetings. And we had a few weeks ago an in-person party outside with Life Kids, which was fantastic. The kids absolutely loved it. And we're also planning to maybe do another one of those in this period as well. So I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to commit Chantel to something that she's not ready to commit to. But stay tuned to social media and other channels for news on more Life Kids and Little Acorns events that are happening in the near future.
That's brilliant, Pete. Thank you. Thanks for that. And I think that covers everything that we were kind of mainly thinking of. That covers maybe enough of the bases. One thing I did just think of, however, was once you've booked in online, you'll get in your email that you receive, you'll get like an acknowledgement email. And again, if it doesn't come through within sort of 10-15 minutes, just check your junk in case it's been your email inbox filtered it in through to there. It will say on there the time that you need to arrive. You need to arrive about 10:15. So the building will be kind of locked until then. It'll just be the team that are putting on the service that will be in there. It's a little bit like in the days when we used to meet for church services, and we had the auditorium doors locked sometimes so that we could be in between services, just so that we could kind of turn the room around and get ready for another group of people to be coming in, but that'll just you'll be coming for about 10:15. So if you do have a question, as we've said before, if you do have a question, particularly if it's something that's very pertinent that will determine whether you book or not, please do pop it in the comments or get in touch with us direct. There's a number of different ways in which you can do that. And we'll do our best to answer that. If not, then if you are coming in anyway, you can ask the host team on Sunday. I just wonder, I don't know if there's anything else that we've missed, Pete. Anything that you want to cover before we go?
Yeah, maybe just one thing that springs to mind. If you are actively serving on a team on Sunday in the next 4 weeks, whether that's the worship team, the host team, refreshments, or the tech team, you do not need to book in. So we have already accounted for you. We have numbers of teams are all sorted, and we know how many we can have on each team and where you'll be sitting and all that kind of stuff. So you don't need to book in. If you're serving on a team, please don't book in. It's only for people who are attending, who want to come and be part of the service. If you're serving on a team, don't need to book in. I think, though, we've covered everything, which is really good going to in half an hour.
Yeah. Oh, literally just got to the 30-minute mark, which is great. Just to tell people what we're going to be doing over these next 4 weeks in terms of the actual service, we will be having. It'll be very similar to. We're keeping the format very similar to what we've done for quite some time now, and there is likely to be as we've already said, a change to that in a few weeks' time. But this Sunday we're going to be beginning a new series, which is going to take us over these 4 weeks, and we're going to be looking at the church that we believe that God is calling us to be in this world today, and I think it's something that will be very the kind of the church that we need to be, but also the church that people need to see, the church that the world needs to see. Lots of people have lots of different, particularly people outside the church. They have lots of different preconceptions, sometimes misconceptions about the church, and this is what we're hoping to look at over these 4 weeks, is what the church that we believe the world needs. The church is a lot of different things, but the church we believe the world needs. So I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm going to be bringing a message on that this Sunday, and I'm really looking forward to bringing that. It's something that's very much on my heart, and I believe it's going to be really good. We hope that this Sunday is going to be great. It's going to be a good opportunity for people to, if they're able to come back together again. If you go to book and we don't know what to expect this Sunday. Maybe the second Sunday we'll have a little bit more of an idea. If for some reason all the places go, then please just make sure you're really quick on the draw for booking in next Sunday, and we'll get those links out to you in a number of different ways, so it's easy for you to book in next week. But again, we will still be streaming online, so that if you can't book in, or if you're someone at the moment, if you're having to shield, if you're not very well, if you're maybe having to be a little bit more cautious at the moment, we know as Christians we've been called we've not been given a spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. But if you're having to be a little bit more cautious at the moment, then we will still be streaming online. And we really believe this is part of our ministry in the future is going to be in the digital arena. I just think that's where the church is now. And I say that church with a big C. I think all across the world, all that digital stuff is here to stay. It's part of the reason we're doing this video today, so we can reach people in this way. So again, if you do have a question, please do get in touch with us, and we'll do our best to answer it or bring it with you on Sunday. But we're really looking forward to welcoming you on Sunday. I know our host team are really on it, really looking forward to welcoming you in. So when you come in, then there'll be a warm welcome that awaits you, and we'll be doing everything we can just to keep you safe while you're with us, and hopefully give you a real God honouring and enriching experience in church together. So I don't know if there's anything more that you want to add, Pete, before we go. And I've already asked you that, haven't I? But just in case there's anything.
I can already see people booking in for Sunday, which is fantastic. Really, really good to see that. But if you haven't yet booked in and you want to come, get booked in. Please do get booked in quick, because places are already going, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, I know sometimes people think, oh, well, I don't want to book in because there might be someone who kind of needs it a little bit more than me. But what I'd just encourage you to do is just get booked in anyway. And as I said, if you have to miss out this week, I'm really sorry. Because we are limited next week, hopefully. So the big thing is don't delay. So, and I've just seen, I will do this personally. Brian's just commented and said he can't log in, but could he book a seat? I will book you a seat as soon as we come offline. Brian, I will book you a seat. So you just take that. If you come for 10:15 on Sunday, then we'll make sure that you've got a space. So I think that's everything. So thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Again, for people who haven't seen this video, if you can maybe send them a link, or on YouTube or on Facebook, if you just make sure that you pop their name in the comments, or just maybe even share the video on your page, that'd be really good. Remember, if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to our channel, click the alarm bell so you get all the best access to our new and archive content. We're looking forward to welcoming you on Sunday, whether that's in person or online. We hope you're well. We're praying for you. Again, if there's anything that we can do for you, any prayer requests you've got, please, in whatever way you can, get in touch with us. We'd love to stand with you in prayer. And we look forward to seeing you really soon. But it's adios from us now. Unless you're just going to say one more thing, Pete.
I know you wrapped up so well, but I just remembered one thing that we didn't talk about. It was communion. So we are hoping to also share communion this Sunday, So if you're joining us online, make sure you have elements ready at home. But if you're coming in person, we've got, again, we'll be using the individual communion portions. We'll be distributing those to you as you arrive as well. So that'll be great to be able to take communion together. So as you come, just expect to receive one of those individual communion portions, and we'll take communion together. Sorry to spoil your incredible wrap-up, James.
I just can't do as good a job this time. I think we just have to keep going. But thanks for tuning in, whether it's online or in person. We're looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. Have a really great day. It's great to see. I don't know what it's like wherever in the world you might be watching from. The weather here is really good. We've been very much blessed. Pete was so brave that you went out for a run today, didn't you? So enjoying getting those. Are you doing anything tonight, Pete? Have you got anything exciting lined up?
I'm hopefully going to have an early night. That's as exciting as it gets with 3 children under 6.
And you do deserve it after you've had. There was the exertions of an England win yesterday, but there's also the exertions of doing risk assessments and things like that. So I think you very much deserve that. So look, you enjoy your early night, and whatever you're doing tonight, enjoy it, and we look forward to seeing you really soon. God bless everyone.
See you soon, everybody.